Do you constantly feel lonely? This is a sign you may have an unbalanced crown chakra. Your crown chakra is the energy center in your body which governs consciousness, fulfillment, spirituality, enlightenment, and life purpose. If you're struggling in any of these areas, your crown chakra may be blocked. Here are the signs and how you can heal. Number 1, you are spiritually unaware. Number 2, you attach your identity to material possessions and past achievements. Number 3, you feel angry at God or a higher power for the life you have. And number 4, you suffer from headaches and migraines. To begin healing your crown chakra, sit in silence for 10 to 20 minutes a day. Incorporate daily breathwork exercises which focus on breathing through your nostrils. Use sandalwood essential oils as aromatherapy. And finally, surround yourself with the color purple.
Let's talk about the crown chakra. So some signs that your crown chakra is unbalanced is that you find that you don't fit into society. You find it hard to focus on the present moment. You're often in your head daydreaming. You feel lonely most of the time, and you really have a lack of purpose in your life, and this can make you feel nihilistic at times. So here are 3 things that you can do to balance your crown chakra. So the first thing that you want to do is hold the Sahasrara mudra. Now you want to hold this mudra in a meditative position for 5 minutes. Now the next thing that you want to do is listen to the healing frequency sound of 963 Hertz. Now the last thing that you want to do is chant the mantra Ang. Now you want to chant this mantra over and over until you feel a balance in your crown chakra.
People create coherence in each one of these energy centers, and they do it properly. They know how to change their brainwaves. They get into the operating system. They can master convergent and divergent focus. They're no longer living just this way. They've practiced opening their awareness and focus on energy, becoming conscious of it. And as these brains become more coherent and they start producing different signals to hormones and chemicals and to different glands in the body, that's what's being upregulated to make different expressions. And it's love. That's the greater frequency. So each one of them have their own frequency, and all frequency carries information. Frequency, energy, has an intent. And when energy moves into any one of these centers, systems begin to change. When the first center switches on because there's energy in there, that center, the energy that activates the brain in that center, produces a mind in that center. Because consciousness or energy moving through neurological tissue is mind. When neurological tissue gets activated, all of a sudden there's a mind there. So when the first center gets activated, it has a mind of its own. And if the second center is activated, or the third center, or the fourth, when you're coming from different centers, there's a different consciousness or a different intent. And when energy makes it to the fourth center, though, now it's no longer the consumption, but there's the expansion of energy. This is the bridge that starts us to connect to our divinity. And connecting to that, putting your attention on it, not only creates heart coherence, but it produces a host of biological chemicals that are released, 1,400 different chemicals that begin to restore and repair the body. Some people spend the majority of their time living in that high frequency of stress. So then teaching people then how to make a move from that sympathetic system into the parasympathetic system means they have to practice on a daily basis. When a person begins to slow their brainwaves down, they have to go, when you're in stress, when you're in survival, you narrow your focus on a cause. That's called what's called a convergent focus. So now you're blessing the energy centers of the body. They're under the control of the autonomic nervous system. And when the autonomic nervous system moves out of balance, the brain moves out of balance, right? We narrow our focus on the cause, and it causes each one of these different energy centers to move into incoherence as well. And those little individual brains start moving into incoherence and send an incoherent message to the cells and tissues and organs. Hormones then become down-regulated, and the body starts moving out of balance. So when we bless the energy centers, or we reprogram these energy centers, two things has to happen. They have to be able to slow their brainwaves down. They have to get out of that high beta state. And the way we do it is to go from a narrow focus to a broad focus. When you open your focus, when you open your awareness, that's what creates coherence in the brain, because you're going against that habit of putting your attention on matter. So there's a convergent focus, which is focusing on matter, and then there's a divergent focus, which is focusing on energy. Well, reality is both particle and wave, matter and energy. So if a person can slow their brainwaves down from beta brainwaves to alpha brainwaves, now they're starting to fall out of their thinking brain right into the home of the autonomic nervous system. The person can't change their brainwaves. It'll never work because they're in their neocortex and their thinking mind, right? So that's one thing that has to happen. The second thing that has to happen is that they have to practice both a convergent focus and a divergent focus. And we were looking at all the research together. I looked at all the research, and the heart, once the energy makes it to the heart acts as an amplifier. Once it makes it here, the energy goes all the way up, all the way to the brain, right to the thalamic gate, right into the brain, and the brain starts going into greater degrees of coherence. In fact, we have brain scans that hopefully we'll show you this week where people are in super coherence, really high level of coherence in their brain. Because as they start moving energy into their heart, the brain can take on more energy. Now here's the cool part. The energy that they feel in their brain, what we measure is in delta, is in theta, is in alpha, is in beta, is in high beta, and is in gamma. It's a really organized brain. So now once you start opening your heart, you get more energy in your heart, you get more energy in your brain. So it creates a field, and it begins to drive energy of the brain. So now that energy is going to cause the person to have a different consciousness, a different thought pattern, right? And now they're going to be thinking possibility, because in survival, the first three ones are all about survival. Yeah. And it's really not a creative process of creating from mind. It's more about a more primitive, humanistic part of us, animal part of us.
The things that we look at are the color of the chakra, the food type, and the glands that are affected or related to that chakra. The color here, often people say violet, but that violet, once we move farther away from the body, that violet turns white quite quickly. That's why white is the spiritual color that we always relate to. We think of what color is spirit? White. So, not a whole lot of white foods, right? And that's not going to apply quite as much here anyway, and I'll get into that in deeper detail. All right, but we have violet and we have white. Then we have no food type. Just as I had to use a food type that was presentation for the third eye, because it's also an upper chakra that's related to the spiritual world, where we were beyond literal food types at that point. So now we're way beyond them. And when I list food types, I talk about fasting, literally not eating food as being the food type for the crown, okay? And that's often been a way to cleanse our bodies, but for longer period of history, it has been a way to pay homage to the divine.
Simply join me in setting an intention, and this Reiki will connect with you in exactly the way you need it right now. My intention is to help you clear away any energies or beliefs that are making it hard for you to connect to your spirit team. Each one of us has our own spirit guides, and we connect to them based on our own ways of connecting and our own sensitivities. This energy clearing will help you to release any stagnant energies that are making it hard for you to connect, helping to clear your crown chakra. Tune into your energy field.